You found the perfect lot. You can already picture your dream home sitting on it. But between buying that land and getting the keys to your finished house, there are about 47 steps that could go wrong. Most people think custom home building goes like this: buy land, hire a builder, move in 6 months later. Reality is, it's more like buy land, navigate permits, deal with delays, manage change, solve problems, and maybe move in a year later if you're lucky. I've guided hundreds of Houston families through this process over the last 15 years. I've seen people make expensive mistakes at every single step, but I've also seen families who did it right, got exactly the home they wanted, on time and on budget. I'm going to walk you through the entire process from land purchase to finished home. Every step, every decision point, every potential problem, because knowing what's coming next is the difference between a dream build and a nightmare. First step isn't buying the land, it's finding the right land. Not all lots are created equal, especially in Houston. You need to check 3 things before you even make an offer: soil conditions, drainage, and utilities. Soil conditions matter because Houston has expansive clay that moves with moisture. Some lots require expensive foundation solutions that can add $20,000 to $30,000 to your build costs. Drainage matters because Houston floods. You want to know where water goes during heavy rains. A lot of lots look perfect in dry weather, might not be underwater during the next storm. Utilities matter because bringing power, water, and sewer to a lot can be very expensive. That can cost you $15,000 to $50,000 depending on the distance and complexity. I've had clients who bought a bargain lot for $80,000 and turned out it needed $35,000 in utility connections and $25,000 in drainage improvements. Their bargain lot cost well over $140,000 before we even broke ground. Once you find the right lot, the purchase process is different from buying a home. You need specific contingencies that protect you during this process. First, you want to make sure that you have the right to back out if the soil test is not correct. You want to know that if soil conditions require an expensive foundation, that you are protected. Second, you want to make sure that utilities are available. Make sure power, water, sewer can actually be connected and at a reasonable cost. Third, you want to make sure you understand the building permit and HOA approval. You want to understand where your restrictions are, where your setbacks are, and where your house has to be. Fourth, you always need to have a financing contingency. This will make sure that you can get an actual loan for the construction, not just of your property, but for the final loan that you would need for your purchase of your house. Don't waive any of these when making an offer because you want to make sure that you are protected and that this is not just an expensive gamble. Now comes the fun part, designing your home. But this is where most people make the biggest mistakes. Mistake 1. Falling in love with the design before understanding the budget. The Pinterest effect of kitchens might cost you $80,000 when you budgeted $40,000. Second, not thinking about how you actually live. Open concept looks great in magazines, but may not work for you if you have teenagers who need quiet space. Mistake number 3, not planning the future. Are you future planning your house, whether or not you plan to have more kids? Making sure that this is a design that fits your lifestyle, your budget, as well as the aesthetics. And making sure that you understand every angle as you get ready to build your house. Also, when is the time to look at the major systems? HVAC, electrical capacity, plumbing layout, smart home infrastructure. Changes during construction can become very, very expensive if not thought of up front. While the design is happening and working on permits and approval, this is the most frustrating part of the process because you have no control over timing. In Houston, permits typically take between 4 and 8 weeks, depending on the complexity. Simple houses move faster, complex designs may take longer, but permits aren't just about the city. You also might need to have HOA approval, utility company approvals, or environmental clearances. HOA approvals can take anywhere between 2 to 6 weeks. The average HOA says they have up to 45 days to evaluate your project. Utility approvals can depend on what services you need, whether it's electrical, water, sewer, or gas. Any of these could easily take you up to 6 weeks. Smart builders submit permits early and use the approval time for material ordering and crew scheduling. So don't wait to start planning at the permit stage. Material selection can be the part that makes or breaks both your timeline as well as your budget. A lot of times I tell my people, if you want to make sure you know exactly what it is that you're going to spend, make your selections up front. Now, I understand that this can sometimes feel a little overwhelming, but in order to ensure that your project moves on schedule, on task, and most importantly on budget, these are very important things. What you decide in making your selections will directly affect what the actual cost of your project is. So, a lot of times throughout the permit process, if we made all our selections up front, this is the time that we are making orders. So anything that has a long lead time, we're going to try to capture during this period so that once you get your permits back and you have HOA approval, then you are ready to go and there's no delay. While permits are processing, you're making material selections. This is where timeline and budget can get blown if you're not actually careful. Some materials have long lead times. Custom windows might take 8 to 12 weeks. Appliances could be on back order 4 to 6 months. I've seen them take up to a year sometimes. Natural stone might need 6 weeks for fabrication. We create material selections and schedules to show each item needs to be ordered to arrive and when. Order too early and materials sit around getting damaged. Order too late and construction stops waiting for deliveries. Also, this is when you discover what your allowance actually buys you. That $15,000 kitchen cabinet allowance might get you basic boxes when you wanted custom hardwood. Good builders help you understand what each allowance covers and what upgrades cost. Bad builders let you discover this during the construction when it's too late to adjust the budget. Finally, construction starts, but even this has a specific sequence that affects timeline and quality. Phase 1, site preparation and foundation. This includes surveying, excavation, utility rough-ins, and foundation pour. Takes 2 to 4 weeks depending on complexity. Framing and roofing. House gets framed, roof goes on, windows and doors get installed. Takes 3 to 6 weeks depending on size. Mechanical rough-ins, electrical plumbing, HVAC systems get installed before walls are closed up. Takes well over 2 to 3 weeks. Then, in phase 4, you have insulation and drywall. House gets insulated, drywall installed, texture painted. Takes 3 to 4 weeks. Flooring and trim, hardwood, tile, carpet gets installed along with interior doors and trims. This can easily take another 3 to 4 weeks. Final finishes, countertops, fixtures, appliances, final paint, and then touch-up. This can take easily 4 or 5 weeks. Each phase depends on the previous ones. Rush one phase, create problems for the next. Even with perfect planning, changes and surprises happen during construction. How you handle them determines whether your project stays on track. Common surprises within soil conditions different than expected, utility connections more complex than planned, material delays, and of course in Houston, weather. Permit revision requirements. Common changes that I see are client sees something during construction and wants to modify it. Better understanding how the space will work and leads to improvements. New products become available that weren't available during the planning. Good change management requires written documentation, clear pricing, timeline impact assessments, and client approval before work proceeds. I've seen projects where small changes snowballed into major project overruns because they weren't managed properly. $500 changes can become $5,000 problems if not handled right. Final inspections and move-in is the last phase, the final inspections and move-in preparation. This is where attention to detail matters most. City inspections cover safety and code compliance. These are non-negotiables. Houses can't be occupied without final inspections and approval. Client walkthroughs cover quality and completeness. This is your chance to identify any issues before final payment. Punch list items are normal small touch-ups, adjustments, and corrections that need to be completed. Good builders handle these quickly and professionally. Final utilities get connected, final cleaning gets complete, and you get your keys. Timelines from land purchase to move-in can easily be greater than 12 months on a custom home. Faster is possible, but usually means cutting corners. Slower usually means problems from poor planning. Building a custom home is complex, but it is not mysterious. Every step has a purpose and a timeline. The key is working with professionals who understand the process and can guide you through it. If you're thinking about building a custom home in the Houston area, we'd love to help you navigate this process. We've refined our system over 15 years to minimize surprises and maximize satisfaction. Drop a comment with questions about any part of this process, what step you are most concerned about, and what you would like to know more about. And if you're ready to start your custom home journey, check out our website or give us a call. Let's turn your dream home vision into reality, because building a custom home should be exciting and not too stressful. With the right team and the right process, you can get exactly what you want.